I think the topic of overrated anime is something that has been talked about a lot. But what about underrated anime? Of course people talk about it, but it isn't nearly as prominent as talking about anime or overrated. People are more likely to bash on an overrated show than talk about an underrated gem. Even the topic of talking about underrated anime is underrated. Now on to the actual topic of the video. Out of all the anime I've watched, I think the by far most underrated show I've watched is Bacano. Chances are you've never heard of it, or maybe you have but haven't gone around to watching it. But regardless, it's a pretty damn good show and I wholeheartedly recommend it. Now I know it isn't exactly too underground considering it's in the top 50 anime of my anime list. Well, my anime list isn't exactly the most reliable source sometimes, but it's accurate when it comes to gauging how good a good show is. For example, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood and Steins Gate. Bacano definitely deserves his place there. Bacano takes place in 1930 America, mainly New York, and is basically an anime that shows multiple events happening in different years, like 1930, 1931, 1932, which are all connected in some way. To be specific, it follows different people coming from different backgrounds. We have petty thieves, mafia members, delinquents, and psychopaths that were trained that has multiple people trying to hijack it. That isn't even the main focus, and this is only one of the events, but it's the one given the most focus. The other events highlight other things and give you more details about other characters and events that tie into the train. The story also takes a dip in the supernatural genre as some characters we see in the show are actually immortals who can't die or age. It is a very solid concept and is unique from other anime. This show is a bit hard to get into as episode 1 brings a bunch of characters and events all at you, which does make it a bit hard to digest, but as you progress through the show and become more and more immersed, it does get much easier. They do also make some jump cuts between events that do trip you up sometimes, but aside from that, it's a character show. The main cast of characters, there's no exact main character, the whole point of the story is that each event in the story has its own specific main character, are all incredibly interesting and likable. If you like a more character-based anime, it's a very solid show for you to watch. Each character gives you a reason to be attached to them, whether you hate them or love them. The characters definitely push the show. Isaac and Mary are both incredibly lovable idiots. Watching them always brought smiles to my face as they brought joy to wherever they are on screen. A major part of the show relies on the fact that they're the jokers, the wild card of the show, completely unpredictable. You don't want anything bad to happen to them as they're two incredibly likable characters. Even if by some chance you find them annoying, they aren't the main focus of the story, so you can still enjoy the show even if you don't like them. Lad Rooster is a psychopathic character and quite deranged, but it's enjoyable to see him on screen. He's extremely sadistic and doesn't care for his feelings with anyone else. Hell, in the early episodes you watch him box a man to submission by punching his fist repeatedly, talking about how he's a boxing fan and asking if the guy's one too. Then it's like he doesn't care and keeps on slamming his face in repeatedly. Of course he's a psychopath, but it doesn't change the fact that he is an addicting character just due to the fact that he's always so happy and with his dynamic personality. It's not hard to like him despite how unlikable he would be on paper. Furio and Luck are two mafia members offer the more cool vibrant characters. They're perfectly normal characters that are suave and cool to keep you interested. Furio is a perfect main character material, as his style that sets him apart from the rest of the cast. Luck has an adult-like aura about him that makes him so charming when it comes to him doing things. He does everything so cleanly that it's hard not to like him. Even towards the end of the story, somehow the story managed to squeeze in characters that you somehow have an attachment for, despite them literally having the least screen time of the main cast. Now the problem you might come around is that it makes sense that for a show only 13 episodes long, get you to learn and care about over 10 characters while trying to tell a story you get caught for your lack of development for characters, but you'd be wrong. The show itself was its best to show character development like for Jacuzzi's plot. At first Jacuzzi was slightly annoying due to how much she complained and cried, but since he was surrounded by other characters that were likable, you cared about less. However, if you told me an integral part of the story revolved around Jacuzzi from the beginning, I wouldn't be looking forward to that part of the story. Jacuzzi definitely changes though, and he rises to be an actual likable character. And I believe that his change is much more profound compared to other characters in anime with the same archetype of a crybaby character, compared to a cool character. Jacuzzi stands out from the rest in terms of development just because how smoothly and quickly Jacuzzi chose to change. Though if there's something I have to say, it's that Jacuzzi crying as he was shooting up a bar was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. They used its crybaby trait to its fullest and then threw it out there when it wasn't needed anymore. Nice and simply yet effective development, I liked it. The allure and strong point of the show comes from its genius branching narrative structure where no matter where they show you, it will always come back around in the grander scheme of things. As a matter of fact, Manhattan in 1930, a transcontinental railroad in 1932, or a ship in the middle of the ocean in the 1700s. The plot will come around full circle and match that, which is how well it can set up a cast of likable characters where no matter the time, no matter the event, it doesn't matter who's on screen, there will always be someone enjoyable around. Then you can see where the show truly shines and why it's actually amazing. And hey, if there isn't a character in the screen you like, just Isaac and Mary are always around the corner. If this video did a good job of convincing you to watch Bacano, thank God. I'm not really good at convincing. If it did, well, all I can say is if you find yourself not knowing to watch, try and give Bacano a watch. It's a solid sub and the dub is pretty good as well. Anyway, that was it for the video. See you in the next one, and peace.